What is up, everybody? This is Marshall Lee of DonkeyJawProjects.com, and today is a big day. Today is a day I've been waiting for a long time. A lot of people have been waiting for, I hope, especially in the community that has to do with my community because Mr. Russell Leach here, who's sitting right next to me, in maybe a few miles away, but still. Sitting right next to me. He's been on the channel many times. He's like my partner in crime here, I think, over here. And it's been a while since he's been on because my schedule's changed and his schedule is still the same, so that's the problem. Um, but the thing is the love has never gone away. So what the truth is he launched a crowdfunder in
Hey,
Indiegogo, and it's called Only Death Can Save Us. You might have heard of it. And it's pretty awesome. I'm pretty freaking excited. I went and contributed as soon as I could figure out which one I wanted to contribute for,
thank you.
and I want to contribute again. I feel like I'm going to do this more than once in this campaign. That being said, Russ, it's time. It's time. Do your spiel. Let people know who you are, where you're from, and I'm gonna scroll through these really cool pictures.
Okay. You can find me on as Comic Book Black Belt on YouTube. You can find me at russleach.com, comicbookblackbelt.com. You can find out about my book, Only Death Can Save Us, at onlydeathcansavus.com. There's a link there to this campaign. And you can also find me on the Twitter, on the Fleecebook, on the Instagram, and on the Parlay. Come speak to me about comic books and comic book art.
Awesome. That's the thing. And we are going to get into a bit of a topic here. Launching Legacy. And there's some cool things we're going to talk about. It's going to be a good show. So again, I wanted to share this, Indiegogo. This is his Only Death Can Save Us campaign. Let's refresh this and see if we're up to date or not. In the US, the US, we're getting close to 1K.
Yeah.
We got to bring 1K to the UK. Let's do it. And you guys, you got to go over there, get the book, do whatever you can. And I mean, you guys know what the story is. I'll let Mr. Russ tell us a little bit what the story is before we get into the topic.
Yeah, as you can see, there's the pitch. Only Death Can Save Us is a Bronze Age-inspired cosmic fantasy romp, bringing together action and pathos as the ancient elemental known as Death leaps from his ethereal retirement to help a young soul protect her loved ones, her world, and even existence itself. This is dripping in cosmic. Its heart is definitely in the Bronze Age. My art style is Bronze Age inspired with a modern twist. I use a mixture of traditional and modern digital techniques to basically bring the things that I loved to life, hopefully. And it's culminated in this book. I've written a couple of scripts, and this is the one that came into being. And it's got that, hopefully, it's got that sort of cosmic Thanos, Jim Starlin kind of vibe from the Bronze Age, but with so many of the styles mixed in. And so you can see that in the 8-page preview, which is up now, not only on the Only Death Can Save Us site, but also in the Indiegogo campaign. So you can get an idea for how the story flows, what the book will look like, and just the general feel for the whole thing. I'm very fortunate to have Rick Hoskin working on the dialogue for me. So he's just tweaking my script, and it's making a massive difference. It's really, really good what he's producing, and he's done loads of work for mainstream publishers like Dynamite and what have you, and Marvel and DC. So he knows his craft, and it's also edited by Tim Quinn, who is an ex-Marvel editor and has been in the business for a long time and knows his stuff as well.
So,
So yeah, that's
all the
about it.
problems.
Sorry.
So he knows how to fix everything that you've
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He knows how to make my book work properly instead of the crap that I give him.
Oh goodness. Well, I think you got a great team, and if you did this all by yourself without a team, I'd still be jumping on it. But that's awesome that you got some people to help you out with this. Let's talk real quick before we get into the topic again. Let's just talk about the tiers you got here. What are you offering us here?
Yeah, I've got a featured tier because I was given some very good advice. I've been reaching out to independent creators, both in and out of the Comicsgate group, because my belief is we should all talk to each other, and as long as people are respectful and polite and professional, then we should just get on. Their personal opinions of their own. So that said, I've had nothing but generosity and kindness from that direction, and I've had a lot of people help me out, and I've asked about how to put a good campaign together, and there have been some very good, kind, talented, creative people that have helped me out, not least Captain Frederick Head and A Rotten Glory, and also, more importantly, Michael Bancroft has gave me some really good advice, and I think it's helped. So that said, I've put together a featured tier, which I've been told is the thing to do, and it's effectively a tier that you get your bang for your buck. So this is the tier where you get the book, you get all the posters, and it's just £40, Great British pounds, or $54 US, and then it's plus the postage. It's a little bit more than the postage you would for the normal book, because I send out the A3 poster in a tube so that it doesn't get folded up.
Yeah.
But I think it's worthwhile doing that, and obviously I've got 4 people that think that's a good idea. So that's the featured one, and those A4 posters, those A4 pin-up prints are from guest artists. So I got Mike Emirates, Amrit Birdie, Rob Willis, and Renzo Rodriguez to do me a black and white inked print. And what I do is I color them up for the inside, for the gallery, but you can get them as a print in the tier.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. And I want to say, like, I mean, you'll see little pieces of it here and there in this campaign, but my buddy Mike Emirates, friend of the show, he's been maybe unbeknownst even to Russ, but he's been showing me little previews in the behind the scenes here. So
he's done a wonderful job. He's done it's really I said to him that it reminded me of like 2000 AD, had a real gutsy feel to it. It's an excellent piece.
I'm not surprised, because he's a big fan of that kind of stuff. So
and a cracking artist as well.
Oh man, yeah, one of my favorite for sure. You and him and many others that are my peers, and I don't even. It's hard to say peers, because you guys really bring some excellence to this stuff.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. Like the featured thing. I personally backed this one. Where is it here? The single book plus black and white character sketch.
You went for the character sketch. Thank you very much. That's very much appreciated.
Well, I wanted to get the full page, and I may still jump for it. Do you plan on changing tiers at all? Like adding like to me, like I got this, and I know I want to get the prints too. So I'm like, is there like a tier for just the prints? Because I already got the book in this one. Yeah,
I did. I can do that, and I can make that especially available for you. So I can do that. Just let me know. There is one add-on, which is the Rob Willis print, because I understand that Rob Willis is a very popular artist. So you can sort of add Rob Willis onto, say, this tier or the simple tier. but I hadn't gone any further than that because obviously I offer those A4 prints all over the place in different tiers. But if you let me know, I can produce a secret tier for you.
Yeah, yeah. And if you want absolutely everything, look at this. This is pretty cool.
As
I was
collector's bundle.
What's that?
It's a collector's bundle.
Yeah. I wanted to go with this one, but I think it's definitely worth it. You got to have the cash to swing, you know?
Yeah, you do. That's why I only put one on there. But if the one goes and somebody else is interested in doing another one, I'll make it up. I'll find a way.
There we go. That's awesome. So that being said, I mean, we could go through all the things, but let's get into the topic a little bit. Let's bring some
Yeah.
value for all of our friends here who know what it's like when they come on and they see Russ come onto the show. I'm sure they're like, oh yeah, this is going to be a good one. So
Hope
let's
so.
get into that real quick. So first of all, um, a lot of times, we're all, I mean, we've done so many videos and there's so many people in the chat and hanging out with us who are like, they're working on their project and they want to like do a Kickstarter or Indiegogo or whatever it is, or they just want to, some of them want to just print their comic and sell it. I've been noticing that my buddy who was Doug Garrett, who I did the the I can't think of it, Lone Wolf, the Lone Wolf, sort of the samurai project for. Um, he's looking towards not doing crowdfunding as much, but doing more the kind of just maybe print on demand or just printing it
All
up and
right.
selling it. Like
Yeah.
sometimes we forget you don't have to crowdfund everything. You can just print something and sell it.
No, you don't. But it comes down to there's a balance, isn't there, to be had with literally getting the money together, getting the backup,
Yeah,
trying to put those components together and not having a definite sell through.
yeah,
That's risky stuff. So you've
yeah,
got to take your hat off to anyone that's doing that. I mean, I see people obviously at conventions, not that we're doing those anymore. Making books, having books printed up, taking them to conventions and printing that and selling those books through. And it's like, that takes some balls because you don't know if you're going to be able to sell them or not. It's
yeah.
a tough world. So I think the great thing about crowdfunding is it's not just about the finance of it. It's the connection you get with your potential audience. I'm already seeing that where people are interacting with me. I've seen it through YouTube. I've seen it through the AAA creators. I don't spend enough time on there as I'd like to. I'm so busy. But just getting yourself around and speaking to people and then them interacting with you, getting that feedback. And then when I see it myself when I go and buy a book on a crowd fund. I don't need to have my name in it or anything like that. Just seeing it develop, seeing the campaign tick over, seeing more and more people get excited about a book, and you feel like you're part of that excitement. And that's the thing that I loved as a kid, the whole Stan Lee letters page and the way that he's, wrote as an editor and the way he had other people write as an editor. You felt engaged with comics. You felt part of it. And I think that's kind of what crowdfunding is doing.
Yeah.
Is creating that essence of you feeling part of something rather than just a consumer.
For sure. And, to be fair, Doug Garrett, loved the guy. And I agree. Like, to me, I like, there's different plans, different ways you can do it. And I do agree that you can do it that way. But just, to think of it, he's already done 2 crowdfunders, so he's done that kind of part of building the crowd and getting people involved in his channel. Not that he won't go back to it again, but he's done that. So now he can also experiment with other ways of doing it.
Yeah.
So that being said, I do want to mention too, there's only one link in the description one link alone. I don't want you to follow me on Twitter. I don't want you to follow me. All I have is Twitter, but I don't want you to follow me there. I want you to go to this link and get yourself an awesome book because it's going to be awesome. So that being said, we all talk about this stuff. We're like, yeah, we want to do this. We want to do a crowdfunder. We want to create this book. We got this idea, blah, blah, blah. And Russ has been in that pool of people talking about, I really want to, only death can save us. I think this is a cool thing. I've been creating some characters. Oh, I gotta work on this project because this is what's paying the bills. But I really want to get to only death can save us, this and that, and then, oh, you could sign up for the mailing list. Oh, you could do this now. And then he finally did the Indiegogo like mailing list. And it's like, okay, maybe it's going to come soon. Like I'm looking at it as an audience member, like, okay. And then I get a little message in my Twitter box, it's like, hey, I'm launching tomorrow. Do you want to do a video? I'm like, yes. I'm waiting for this thing. Like I check the mailing link sometimes, like the sign up for the mail. Like I want to sign up for the mailing list again. Like, like I have like 5 mailing list, emails connected to it. And I'm like, I keep checking it. Like, when is it going to turn into an actual thing?
Did you get any emails? I mean, I've been sending out. I think I've sent out 3 now. 3 from MailChimp.
I'll be honest. I just don't check email hardly ever.
All right, there you go. Because I launched today, probably about 13 hours ago now.
Yeah.
14 hours ago, because I launched at roughly midday. Yeah. And I pretty much straight away sent out an email to everybody via the MailChimp service. Mm. So if you're on the list, I did send an email. I saw there from DLA. First off, thank you very much for backing it. That's very much appreciated. But yeah, if you were on the list, you should have received an email. Check your junk mail, because I think MailChimp mails often get just chucked in the junk. So yeah.
That's exactly.
Lost 1,000. Check that out.
Yes. See, I wasn't gonna necessarily. Let's see. Here, let me see. Let me share again real quick. Let's see. We got. I'm gonna right now. I'm at 979. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Oh yeah.
Check it out.
American USD dollars.
That's fantastic. I mean, the fact that I've hit 10% on the first day is just, that's fantastic.
Well, it's 15% over here in America.
Yeah, 15%.
I think before 24 hours is out, you're gonna have even more. So, yeah, man. And like I said, like to me, like we've all wanted to do this, and you clicked the button, you made it happen. You did the thing. You did all the preparation, put together the Indiegogo. I know because I have been. Even though I did do a Kickstarter way back when Kickstarter started, and even back then when things weren't so sophisticated, it was still a lot of work. And I've also been involved in other Kickstarters since then. And I just know there's a lot of behind the scenes work. There's a lot of just creating little images that all that kind of stuff. And you did it. You made the thing happen, and you pressed launch. That's the big thing, because you could get everything set up, and you could still hesitate on pressing that button.
Oh yeah, I did. I mean, I've been around. I've been around. I'm old enough to remember before we did artwork on computers. I've been an art director. I've been a programmer. I've been a company director. I've been a designer. I've done all these things prior to my life as an illustrator, and in all the business that I've done and all the things that I've done, I have to say, I don't think I've ever felt quite as nervous as sitting there looking at whether I should hit this button or not. In fact, I did it once and then didn't do it, and then I went back and did it. and it is weird because it's all you. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
if you never try, you'll never fail.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, but you have to be ready to lose.
Yep.
And that's the only way you win. That sounds really cliche, but it is, because by learning, by doing things again and again until you get it right. 10,000 hours, that's the skill set. Okay. But events like this, they're some of it's more about your character than it is about the actual project itself, and it's like pushing yourself to do that. Um,
Mm.
and I've worked with people, you know, in way back in the past, who had great ideas, and they never pushed themselves to be tested.
Mm.
They didn't cross that line, and that's what you got to do. It's like with your stuff, with all the comics that you do, and like I keep saying, you're an inspiration. You just keep doing stuff. You keep making things, and you keep making this channel work, and bringing people in, and it's just such an amazing thing to see. Getting yourself out there and making it happen. That's the most important thing. You just got to take that step. Got to get out there and do it. But like I was saying earlier, I've had an incredible amount of support and friendly advice and wisdom from a whole bunch of people, and it's really made the difference.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I was able to, as you know, with Indiegogo, you're able to give like a secret version of your campaign so that other people can see it if you give them the link. And I
Oh,
had some great advice on that, and I changed it and made it work. And
yeah.
I've had lots of people say, "Oh, right, this campaign is really cool. It's working. It's straightforward. I can see what's going on." And that's all from that advice. It's not down to me. It's down to listening to advice. And they
Yeah.
say, what is it? An expert isn't necessarily an expert in their field. They just know where to find people who are. It's like
Yeah.
it's getting people together and taking advice from people who know better than you, looking, probing, working things out.
Yeah. Dale says, "What? It launched?"
Yeah,
Yeah, man, it launched. Go do
yeah.
it.
Then he backed it. Damn it, he backed it. Thank you so much. Backed it.
That's how
But
I feel too. Like
yeah,
I was talking to people in on my Discord last night, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna have Russ on tomorrow. I think he's launching his thing," and they're like, "No, he's supposed to launch it like in a week or something." I'm like, "Oh, maybe you're right. I don't know. I thought he was gonna launch it. Maybe I'm."
1st of September. Although it's the second here now.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah,
Only death can save us.
it
So,
certainly can.
I love that title. So that being said, man, I just want to say, and we are going to talk a little bit more about this, but also I just want to say, man, the point of all of this buildup is I freaking appreciate what you've done. Like, it's just, I just know how hard it is to press that button, and I can't be more proud. Like, and it's not, it kind of feels weird for me to say I'm proud of you, because you're like, to me, you're like somebody I look up to, like.
Thank you.
But I really am, because I'm working towards what you're trying to do here.
Mm,
I'm working towards that. And people, a lot of times I get this thing where people are like, oh, you should launch a thing because you got a lot of followers, and I just know you're going to do well and stuff like that. And I really appreciate that, because I think the fact that people are even saying that shows that, yeah, there is some support behind me. So
oh,
that's really
definitely.
cool. But that being said, I think when you don't realize it until you actually are getting ready to push that button. And I know, because I've done it, and I've also uh, kind of been part of ones that have done it. No matter how much following you might have gotten. I'm getting close to 10K subscribers on my YouTube. It's
Amazing.
still like, yeah, but are they subscribers that will actually back
Uh,
you
it's,
know a
it's
crowd?
tough.
You
Yeah.
don't know. There's
No, no,
people,
no.
I mean, what is it? Is it Scott Snyder or something, or like, some of these other like super famous like
Mm.
comic creators? They've gone into crowdfunding, and they're like, oh yeah, we'll see if I get maybe 1 million or something, and
Yeah,
and it's like
yeah,
uh they only got 200,000,
yeah,
and 200,000 sounds great to me, but like, yeah, I'm like, will I fund at like 3,000? Like, you
yeah,
know,
yeah. That's exactly it. That is exactly it. You just look at those kind of fun figures and you think, oh my god. Um, I'd be lucky if I make it to my target. Um, I worked out that I think if I can get somewhere around 125 to 150 people, I'll hit the target.
yeah, yeah,
And so I've just got to keep my fingers crossed. I think I had about 250 people on my email list in the end. Not on the Indiegogo one, in my total email list, because you have to merge them and then go away to Mailchimp and use it. Um, for some bizarre reason, on Indiegogo, you get these. So you set up your pre-campaign page, and it harvests the email addresses, and then when you press launch, it does nothing. You,
mm,
you'd think it would send an email to everyone say you show your interest, it's now launched, but
I
it
know.
doesn't. It all it does is just sit there. But when you do an update, it sends everybody an email to say that you've updated.
Interesting.
So I don't know what that's about. So then you have to take it down. You have to draw down the list. You have to merge it with your other list, and then you put it onto Mailchimp, and then you send the Mailchimp email. So yeah, it's all a bit bizarre, and I don't have anywhere near as many subscribers. I've got I think I picked up a few subscribers tonight on the YouTube channel actually,
Awesome.
about 560 or something like that. Um, so I don't have anywhere near what you have. So I think with the quality that you bring to your channel and the caliber of character and your abilities, your creative abilities as well, I would imagine you would do very well launching a book.
Yeah.
So
Well, we'll see. And the funny thing with me, and I don't want to make this even a little bit about me, but the funny thing with me is I, I'm I'm moving towards a crowdfunder sometime in the early next year. And but I don't know which one, yeah, I don't know which one. And there's a few people involved in different ideas that I have going on, and we'll see what happens, and it'll be
yeah,
interesting. And I'm gonna, I also got Glyph, of course, and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens. I got a lot of ideas, and what the thing is again, launching and legacy. That's what this is about. Like when you're doing this right now, I think Russ is really focused on the short term. You can't help but be focused on the short term right
yeah,
now, because it's like, this is here, this is now. You got to make this thing happen. Let's do this, and I'm very confident that it will happen. But when it comes down to it, not only is that the case, but before this, you were working on this project. I mean, even putting forth your first creator-owned project, like you are focused on the long term to a certain degree. Like, this isn't just a plan. Like, you didn't do this so, like, okay, this is going to be the one and done thing. I'm going to be rich and
no.
famous after I do this. This is like,
If only.
this is like, hey, look, crowdfunding's a thing. I got ideas. I've always wanted to really do comics the way I want to do comics. And this is you, in my the way I've observed what you're doing. This is like, I am putting forth the effort that I would like to see in comics. The thing that I enjoy the most, I'm putting that out there in the world, and let's build upon that.
Yeah, 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 definitely. It's it's a mixture of things because, like you say, you're looking at it short term because you're in the moment, and you're trying to make this work, and you're trying to bring a new IP, a new set of characters to people, and encourage people to want to read about them. Then there's the literally the consumer aspect of convincing people to believe that you will do what you say you're going to do, and build confidence. So you're building confidence not just in the product, and not just in literally the creative output, as in people having confidence in the enjoyment of it, but also the confidence in the business side of it. Is this
And the work
person
ethic
capable?
too.
Yeah, is this person capable of pulling this out?
Yeah.
Because we all know, we've all read and heard the stories of people taking money on crowdfunders and running away with it, or just never saying anything about it,
Mhm.
which in my view is fraud, and that's just not on. If you say you're going to do something, go on and do it. So there's those aspects. So there's those now things, but then there's moving forward, and like you say, some kind of legacy. I'd really like to see this as a 4-book arc. I'd really like to see spin-off stories from it, or a continuation of that arc. And what I'd really love to do, which would be like a wish, is that at the end of that arc, be able to put out a hardback black and white version of it.
Hmm.
So that would be that's kind of like the creative vision of it, and that's the legacy, I suppose, like building that sort of legacy of commitment to an entertainment, commitment to a product, commitment to the readership.
Mhm.
If you read this and you like it and you want more, I'm going to make it.
Mhm.
If I get crowdfunded, if I reach my targets and all goes well, then yeah, there's another book in development. So yeah, it's two, there's these two-pronged things, like the now and the, where's it all going.
Mhm.
And you kind of have to keep an eye on both.
Yeah. And that's one thing that I really appreciate about you, and there's this is kind of the thing I keep my eye out on when I'm looking out in the crowd and seeing all these comic creators and stuff. And I'm not judging anybody. I mean, I am not the best example, in a lot of ways. Um, but at the same time, I am looking out and being like, okay, who would I like to maybe work with and stuff like that. And one of the main things I look for when I think of a collaborator, is somebody who I know has that work ethic, who's
Yeah,
like, the, even if they're, depending on, I mean, I want their art to be good too, and,
mm,
and that's
yeah.
that's a big part of it too. But if you can't pump out a book, I, you
That's no
know,
product.
if
Yeah,
I, if
that
I see, I want to see people producing.
yeah.
That's big, even bigger
That's
than
why I go with done is better than perfect.
exactly.
And that's hard. That's hard to take as a creator, and it's hard to impose on other creators, because you want the best work from people. You want them to be relaxed and um, passionate about the work, and don't just turn in, like, don't just phone it in, as it were. But at the same time, it is a product.
Yeah.
It is a consumer item, and you're out there to entertain people. And if it doesn't get done, then you're not entertaining and you're not turning money on it. So it's all one thing, and it's like, it's back to what I loved. I wanted to draw pages in the ball pen, with Stan Lee and John Buscema and Ditko and Jack Kirby, and that was my dream when I was a kid. Um, and I got to do some of that professionally, with bigger IPs. But it's a hard game. Like, as Jack said, the comics will break your heart. Doing that is a hard gig, and it's not a particularly safe one either. It's not a dependable one. So there is that aspect of being a drafts person, of being good at what you do and being paid for it. but that doesn't mean there isn't any less passion in the creation of a comic. And this is something that recurs throughout the conversations that I have with people, is that's what's wrong with the mainstream industry. There's nothing wrong with turning a profit. There's nothing wrong with making a consumable item, but it's entertainment. And if there's no passion from the top, so I'm not talking about the creators. There are plenty of creators in the mainstream industry who are just as passionate as I am. Okay. Lots of top talent. All right. They're all over the place. But the people at the top don't care about comics. They just don't care. And back in the day, mainstream publishers cared because that was their business. Films, lunchboxes, that wasn't their business. Okay.
Yeah.
Comics was their business. And the thing you're getting from crowdfunding and from the indie scene at the moment, Comicsgate included, okay, is passion for comics. Simple as that.
Yeah.
And that's what's kind of been missing. And that's what we all need to work for. We all need to work together and make the industry better again, because it's in a bit of a state at the moment. And only by passion and by commitment can you do that.
Wow. I mean, honestly, that right there is just it's so true. Like, it's just so true. I don't even want to add to that.
And I say these things from the heart. I love. People say, "Oh, I love comics." No, I really do. Okay, they've been a passion for me since I was a child. They've come and gone because you have a life. All right, but the idea of, and I think it probably comes from nostalgia, simply because I buried myself in comics as a kid. And it's that connection you have with comics. It's that there's something about the sequential art and the way that stories are told when they're done well. Yeah. And also, from my personal perspective, I have the nostalgia for the Bronze Age because I feel the way the stories were told then visually as well, not just the scripts, but visually. There's just something special about it.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, like the passion you have for the Bronze Age, I already was interested anyways, but because of you, I literally, when I go to the comic shop, the first thing I do is go to those back issues, and I'm looking for some cool Bronze Age stuff, and that's what I've been getting lately whenever I do go. And again, just one thing to kind of add to things is, you were talking about wanting to be in that bullpen and stuff like that, and even participating in a certain degree to it. One thing is, unfortunately, sadly, even it breaks the heart of many a kid from that era, but the bullpen didn't really.
No, I know that now. Yeah.
That being said, doing a project like this, again, you're reigniting that passion for that kind of comic book. You're reigniting even an appreciation for the old stuff. I mean, you're talking to people who also experienced that and enjoyed that as well, and I think it's worth it. That being said, you really said it better than I could, and I'm going to just go to a different topic here because of that. Bad Ham Comics says, that's why I won't crowdfund until I've have something done ready to crowdfund for. What do you think about that? Because your comic is, from what I understand, not done, but pretty darn close in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I would have preferred for it to have been more done than it currently is. I got all the pencils finished. I have about 30% of the inks done, about 15% of the colors done, all the lettering's done. And it's now currently being scanned for scripting, for dialogue. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you very much. And then obviously editing. So I also have
for Russ, it's like what, two something 30 in the morning.
It's 20 to 3 in the morning. So yeah.
Please
excuse any Alzheimer's symptoms that may be showing. So yeah, where was I? Yeah, how much has been done? And I've got a beta version as well. So all the pencils have all the lettering over the top of them. So all I've got to do is fit in where the dialogue changes, and then that will go out to the editor so that it can be edited prior to me finishing up the inks and the colours. So I think I've got it kind of worked out. I'd like to think, and I'm pretty sure I'm close to it, that I'll have the whole thing finished by the end of October, certainly by the first week of November, and it's out to print middle of November.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
That's awesome. And again, if you've watched my channel or watched Comic Book Black Belt's channel, aka Russ Leach here, I think you have a pretty good sense of his work ethic, and know that what has been said will come to pass. And so it's funny because we kind of hit on a bunch of the topics that I was thinking of originally. So what I wanted to do was kind of throw a little bit of a funny one out there. This question here was actually posed to me last night on Discord, and I thought it was interesting, and it made me think. It actually, Stinch over here, Stinch Whackbacker here was let's see. I want
to. Only dementia can save us. He's not. Yeah, he's right.
He's been in the.
We've got Stinch on next week.
Yeah, he's coming on. And I was wrong about the launch. Okay, and he laughs. Okay, so he was the one who made the comment about what time the launch was going to be. But when we're doing these crowdfunders, we don't know for sure. And then I think at some point, Russ was like, "Okay, it's time. So it's not your problem, Stinch. But that being said, Stinch, like he brought up in the Discord, he was talking about this idea of like, I think it was him. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was him. He was saying, I'm paraphrasing here. I'm kind of putting it in my own kind of version, but he had this question is like, basically, when is it time? And I don't think it was like an indication of I want to do this or not, but like it was a question of like, when is it time? Like you've put so much effort in, maybe it's 5 years later from now. When is it time? When is the indicators that it's like it's time to quit? And this is like almost like a trick question, because I know my answer, and that's why I feel like it's a trick question. But so that's your fair warning, Russ. Like, when is it time to quit this?
When is it time to quit? I think when is the question is what are your goals?
I like that.
and that depends on when it's time to quit. If your goals are drawing for Marvel, okay, quit now. Yeah. And your style is nowhere near what you'd expect Marvel to use, and you've got no interest from anywhere, then maybe that's the time to quit. But then it's difficult to say that because so many people have like forged their way through. I had a time where I was accepted by Marvel's New Talent Scout in the 90s. It didn't work out for me, and I came back in 2010. And first thing I did was sent off some pages to 2000 AD, and they said, "Yeah, thanks, but no thanks." And I sent some more pages, and they said, "Yeah, thanks, but no thanks." And I really thought I'd done the job, and it was naivety, and all it was a matter of perspective, and I don't mean perspective drawing. I mean perspective as in you have to stand away from your work and not compare it to other people, because there's two types of comparison. Okay, there's the unfair personal comparison where you're constantly looking at your work and going, why doesn't it look like Jim Lee's? Okay, which is ridiculous, because only Jim Lee can look like Jim Lee, apart from the few people that they put on the payroll and get to clone him. But apart from that, you're not going to look like Jim Lee. Okay, and all the best artists look like them. Okay, you can't say, that looks like Jack Kirby, what you'll say is somebody's copying Jack Kirby, because only Jack Kirby can look like Jack Kirby. Okay. And so you have to find that way for yourself. All right. If you can't find your own way, then maybe it's time to quit. But it takes a long time, you know, and also if you're if it's something that you're passionate about, really passionate about, but you have to do a day job, then it's going to take longer, okay, to do that, because your passion is outside of the vast majority of time that you're taking to do
Right.
things. You know, and 10,000 hours is a really good gauge of getting things done. But it must be said, 10,000 consecutive hours or nearly consecutive hours are probably a better guesstimate. I found myself, once I came back to the drawing board and I was just drawing. So, for instance, when I got my first graphic novel and I managed to do a 60-page graphic novel in one go, I found myself improving from page 1 to page 60.
Yeah.
Radically, simply because I was constantly reminding myself of how to do things and then finding new ways of doing things. So, I know, I think it comes down to goals. It depends what your goals are. And if you're, you know, if your goal is to find your style, to be you, and to float it out there and see what you get back, then never quit. Okay. If your goal is to be the next Sean Gordon Murphy, then there may well be comparisons to be made with people like Sean Gordon Murphy that you may think, I'm just not going to cut it. So it depends on your goal, you know, and even then, what I've just said, you know, people change. I can tell you for a fact that, you know, I was trying to be a Jim Lee clone back in 1995, and that got me in to Marvel, even though it never got me anywhere. Okay, with the editors there, but they said, "Oh, the artwork looks great," you know, because I was looking like I was being a Jim Lee clone. When I came back, I'd completely changed. When I came back in 2010, I'd grown up. I'd matured. I started liking Jack Kirby's work, which I didn't before. You know, like I'd matured. I could understand the differences in different people's art, in appreciating styles.
And then you started liking Rob Liefeld's art, and you immatured.
Yeah, and then I started saying, I don't ever want to draw feet again. But you've just, you know, it's that trying to have a broad spectrum, I suppose, trying to take it all in. It's difficult. It's difficult to say to someone, "Oh, give up," because you never know. They might have a eureka moment, you know. So just saying a trite "never give up" is a silly thing. I think you've got to take into account what your goals are. But you know, it's like you should try. If it's your passion, keep going.
Yeah, and I think I like that. That's actually a little bit more reasonable advice than I was more on the train of never give up. Like, to me, to me, it's like, and you know, the only reason I second guess this is because I said the same thing about like my hip hop stuff I was doing, but I don't know if I gave up or just got more excited about something else.
It's always a possibility.
So I got more into comic books. So I don't know, but because I feel like I would have kept going if that was my only passion, but it wasn't. That being said, that was the reason why I said it was a trick question is like, you know, to me, it's, you know, make comics or die trying. Like,
Yeah. Then if that's your goal, then great, keep going. Don't ever stop. Fuck everyone who tries to get in your way.
So,
well, not literally, you know, but you know what I mean. Like that might get you in trouble. But yeah.
Keep about getting in trouble.
Keep going.
This world is trouble enough. If I get in trouble, that's
but focus is a big thing as well.
Yeah.
Like I say, your goals, I suppose, your goals and focus, knowing what you want. That's the most important thing, I think.
Yeah, and I think Stinch was kind of thinking of that too. I want to read exactly what he was talking about because he kind of clarified his point here. He says, "I tried to frame it as in quote unquote, if you've run this for a long period of time but never launch or get out there, when is it time to quit? And
That's a
then
slightly different question, isn't it?
he also adds, but I am in the belief you'll keep at it no matter what you do, because once you're bitten by the bug, you're forever infected.
Yeah,
So,
I think if you frame that question in a certain way, it could be like perhaps an idea runs out of steam,
mhm,
and
yeah,
it's like, no, okay, change the idea. You know, stop on that idea and go to another one, or change the idea so that it works for you,
mm,
rather than the sort of more global question we were posing as, you know, when do you stop? When do you
mhm.
call it a day? I think that's maybe two different things there. One is, you know, how far do I take an idea before I think, no, that's not working, and
I
just
say,
stop.
I say, like, I don't believe in the quitting, but like, if you are at a point where you're making comics and you're hating everything and you like hate life because comics sucks, like that's
Yeah,
probably a good time to quit.
yeah, it's a good time to walk away and have,
Because
you know,
comics
have some
will do
time.
that to you. Comics has the potential of doing that to you. So I'm not just saying that just to be a jerk, but like comics is hard.
Mm, yeah,
So if that's where you're at the very least, take a big ass break and see if you want to come back to it.
yeah,
That's kind of what I did actually. I took a little bit of a break and then I
yeah.
was like, you know what? This bug isn't going away.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened to me, except it was like 15 years or 20
Yeah,
years.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, nearly 20 years. So, yeah, I mean, like Lame Vision Official, maybe there's giving up on it as a career, but you don't have to give up on it as a passion. And I think that really speaks to what I was saying about having the right goals. What are your goals?
Mhm,
What do you want from it? Um, and you know, if your passion is to make comics and you don't care, you know, if somebody big picks it up, you're just interested in making them and entertaining whatever the audience may be, then that's the end of it. It
mhm.
works. Do it.
Yeah. And I just want to say thank you, Stinch, for posing that question. Like I said, I didn't know exactly what I was going to even talk about in this episode, but you know, I always figure something out. But the fact that we had that discussion really like got me thinking, and that
Mm.
question got me thinking. So I really appreciate you putting that question out, and I don't think any of us think of that question as a bad thing. Like that's a good interesting thing like to think about, and
Yeah,
it's worth thinking about. You
yeah,
should count the cost before you go in. You should
definitely.
always do that. um so that being said, speaking about all that, like I'm about to refresh and see where we've got. Hopefully, you guys like went in there and helped out. Like the link is in the description. If you haven't, no judgment. I know
No, no.
you're like contemplating. You're not. You're probably not just sitting there like, am I going to back this? You're probably more like, you know what? Do I want to get the $350 thing, or do I want to, maybe I still need to, pay for oil and gas in my car. Maybe I'll get the sketchbook, the sketch paper one, or maybe I'll get the one with all the prints. I don't know. You're just trying to figure out which one you're gonna get, not so much if you're going to back or not. So, I understand if I go back to this and I find out that nobody has backed, and if you haven't backed, shame on you. No, I'm just joking. But that being said, like let's go back and see where we're at. See if there's been any progress. Let's see. We're refreshing. We're doing it. This is
No,
oh,
it doesn't matter. I've just had such a great day. To have 19 people do that is just amazing.
I know.
Hopefully, I can spread out more and get some more people interested. But it's I'm stunned that people have jumped on it so quickly. It's great. I
Well,
mean, to have 15% in my first day, spot
yeah.
on,
That,
fantastic.
that's
Thank you, everybody.
That's absolutely great. And in American money, you've hit that 1,000 mark, which is really cool.
Yeah, yeah,
That being said, I think that this is definitely going to do well. And one thing that's interesting is we have last week I had a really cool guest on, which I was super excited to have on because you know he's been somebody in my view for a long time who's been a really kind of balanced, interesting person to talk about kind of the comicsgate issues, the comic book industry issues,
Mm.
and he always comes at it with like, let's think about this here, and it's not like just like, oh, attack this person, attack that person. It's
No,
like,
no.
let's take a look at this, and what does it look like, and this is my opinion, and cool. And he's got a really cool project, Fatal and Downcast and stuff like that. Mr. Sweetcast, also known as Clint. That guy's a really cool guy, and
He is.
guess what? In about 5 minutes, Russ Leach is going to put another hour into this long day of promoting, promoting Only Death Can Save Us. And, I would encourage you to go over to his Sweetcast channel, check that out. That being said, once again, Mr. Russ, where can we find you? And the link is in the description, but
Yeah,
tell people.
you can find me on YouTube as Comic Book Black Belt. You know I'm here. You can find me at russleach.com, comicbookblackbelt.com. You can find out about my book Only Death Can Save Us at onlydeathcansavus.com. The link is there for you to get to the campaign on Indiegogo, which is now live. You can find me on the Twitter, on the Fleecebook, on the Parlay, and over at Instagram, and you can come talk to me about comics and comic book art anytime you like.
Awesome. And yes, the link will be displayed in the self promo at AAA Discord as well. So, that being said, thank you, Russ. Man, it's been such a pleasure having you be part of the show. I'm happy to have you this whole month if you want to do a video every day.
I will come back on because I do enjoy your company. I do. And I think the chat was fantastic today. Thank you. Hello, everybody. And thank you for coming and supporting us.
Thank you for coming on. And I'm going to give you 4 minutes to get over to Sweetcast.
Go and empty my boomer bladder.
There you go. I'll talk to you later, man. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and we'll talk to you later.
Cheers, guys. Thanks.